Kawasaki's Christophe Pourcel and Suzuki's Ryan Dungey. They are the defending Supercross Lights champions. They battled to the wire at Las Vegas. These two young superstars have split the first 2 rounds of the 250 motocross campaign. Dungey and Pourcel lead the field as we are set for the gate drop. Round 3 of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship gets underway next on Speed. We're deep in the heart of Texas. It's time for 2009's version of the Flag Star Bank Freestone Pro Motocross National from Wortham, Texas. Round 3 of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship in the 250 class. Jason Wygant joined by 4-time AMA Pro National champion David Bailey. Awesome racing thus far this year in the 250 class, David.
Yes, the talent is so deep. You see these guys all getting ready for their sight lap. It's amazing how many guys are fast now, and you get this huge pack at the front. But the 4 guys that really impressed me this morning was Christophe Pourcel and Ryan Dungey, Trey Canard, who's somewhat local here, and Justin Barcia. That kid is fast all the time. But those 4 really stood out. You know, Pourcel and Dungey, though, splitting those wins. There's a look at Pourcel so far in this first couple rounds, and the way Supercross went, it kind of looks like they're going to try to turn this into a 2-man race. But I think today and next weekend on NBC, those are going to be the rounds that matter the most and really establish what's going to happen the rest of the series.
Well, Ryan Dungey would like to establish himself. He is, of course, the points leader in this series. So we'll give you a look at those, but it's very close. Only 2 points separate Dungey from Pourcel. And Trey Canard, who's been very consistent this year, is in 3rd. The rest of the guys, Tyla Rattray, who's coming over from Europe, as well as Tommy Searle, who you see in 9th, they need to give a little more. They want to be up there with Dungey and Pourcel. Earlier today, Aaron Bates caught up with Ryan Dungey for our Progressive pre-race report.
Well, he's exceptionally talented on a motorcycle, and that's how you sport the red number 10. Ryan, take us through the season. Obviously, you're the points leader right now, leading by 2 points, having won two motos. Talk about the pressure of the season coming in, being the favorite.
Well, I really think it's too early to feel any pressure. You know, it's early in the season. We're only at the 3rd race, and there's 12. So just take 1 race at a time and go out there and do like we know how to do. I think that's all we can, really.
Size up your competition for us.
You know, there's I'm actually surprised. You know, the class is super deep this year. I mean, even in the big class. But our class is, it's always been one to know and to be stacked. So there's a lot of guys. I mean, Pourcel's right there behind me, a couple points. So he's not giving me any leeway to breathe, you know. So I always got to be on top of my game. But it makes it fun, you know. It's why we race, and feel that adrenaline, so it's fun.
This track is a vicious one, but Ryan Dungey is capable of making it happen because consistency pays off.
All right, there is Ryan Dungey surveying this track as they are on their sight lap. Talk about racing out here in Texas.
Well, it's hot. I think we've you can just see it. Look at the heat, okay? And you know, you got a little bit of a breeze going, that helps some, but it's tough out here. And the local guys have a little bit of advantage because the dirt here, it's so much different than other places in the country. These guys all have a pretty good advantage. You can see their ages, 17, 18, 19, 20. There's a lot of good riders on the horizon.
All right, let's get to know these home boys. Let's talk to them. Will Hahn, Trey Canard, Blake Morton, the rest.
It's awesome. It's nice to be able to drive down here in my truck and not have to get on a plane for once to go to a race. And for when my family can be here, no problem. And all my friends show up to see us ride. And not just us, to see everybody race. And the facility's great. Tony Miller's been doing a great job. It's progressing every year. It's gotten better every year. And it seems like the turnout's gotten better every year. So it's going to be a good one for sure.
This is the closest thing I have to a home race, so to be here and have a lot of friends and family that are here, so you know, it's just another race to me, but at the same time it's a little special, so I'm just going to go out there and give it my all and see how it turns out.
Everybody says it's an advantage, whatever, but you know, I've been staying in California a little bit more than normal, so it's not really any more advantage to me than anybody else. It's just, you know, I have my friends and family here just to root me on. I have a little bit more people out there for me, and that's really about it.
I don't know if I'm at advantage because I don't get to ride this track much, but I'm in my hometown, got all my friends here, my family, so it's going to be fun to to do good here. Yeah.
Well, you hear what it takes to go fast at motocross. They don't have the Texas accent. They've been traveling the country to get faster and faster. We'll have highlights of Moto 1 when we return.
24.
Riders are at the gate ready for Moto number 2, but before we watch this, we'll give you the highlights of Moto number 1. It was a good one, and as expected, the 377 and the 10 were the riders to beat. So here we are getting ready in the hot Texas heat. Not quite as hot as it was last year, but Texas in June, it's hot enough. Trey Canard out of Oklahoma makes the home track people happy, gets the whole shot, big pile up there in turn number 1. Unfortunately, teammate of Canard, Justin Barcia, on the right side of your screen, watch this. He goes down, he was up front. So Barcia, the spectacular wonder kid for the first couple rounds, has trouble. Then Canard crashes out of the lead. And taking advantage of that, we're going to say for the first time in this show, the crafty Frenchman, Christophe Pourcel.
A solid race for him. He was the fastest, even after he got to the lead with the charge that Dungey was putting on, trying to come up through the pack, making a move on Searle right here. Pourcel was still the fastest.
Dungey had to keep working. He had to get it around Searle. Then he goes after Metcalfe on the 24. A lot of work for Dungey. Like you said, David, even when he got in the second, he was not able to make up ground.
Yeah, Weimer, that's just one of those crashes, Jason, where you're like, oh, man, can I just do that over again? Watch how out of control it gets for Pourcel. Whoa, that was a wild ride through those sand whoops. And then 61 Wortham on the inside, putting up with some pressure here from his teammate Canard, working his way back inside the top 10. And Wortham makes a nice recovery, but Barcia down for the second time, and this time it took a little bit more out of him.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, not much taken out of Christophe Pourcel. Giant lead pretty much all the way through, and he takes over the points lead by 1 as he takes the first moto victory, and Dungey finishes second. There's a 3-point gap between winning and second. So in between motos, at least at the moment, Pourcel is now your series points leader, but Canard had the lead, crashed out of the top 10, came all the way back to third. An amazing run. And we're ready to go racing here in Moto number 2. And the track's even rougher, the temperatures are even hotter, and for most of the guys, except maybe Pourcel, they used a lot of energy in that first moto.
Yeah, he didn't really seem to back down that much. You know, he's still running a fast pace, but it just seems like when he's on it, he doesn't use as much energy. So he's a tough guy to read. I haven't gotten to watch him enough to really kind of get in his head a bit and try to figure any of that out, but you know, he makes it look easier than everybody else. Certainly Dungey had a lot more work cut out for him, so did Canard. And you know, at this point, you got to give the advantage to Pourcel. He's on the far inside right here. On the inside, you see Dungey, and then Rattray, and then Larson. You see the 39 of Canard, and his teammate Barcia starting in about the same spot. See if they can do that again. Those Honda Geico bikes have been unbelievable off the start. It's usually Pro Circuit that dominates the starts, but we haven't seen that yet this year.
Yeah, the Honda guys have been there, and they've got some good finishes too. Here we go, folks. Revs are up. The gate's going to drop. It's like Dungey got in front of Pourcel, but it's the KTM of Max Anstey that beat everyone in the first turn, and then it's Canard getting around Anstey in turn 1. So Canard, right where he was in Moto 1, is up front early in Moto 2. And you got the 41 of Matt Lemoyne, one of the other Texans right there. So the hometown fans have got something to cheer for. The kid from Oklahoma's in the lead. The kid from Texas is in second. Another kid from Texas, Wortham, is in third. And there's the 377. Pourcel is way back.
Yeah, he and Dungey, the inside didn't work as good for him. It was just a log jam in there. They got shuffled back pretty far, so it's take 2 for Canard out front. He's got a teammate back there behind him. Sometimes that helps you relax just a little bit more. I don't see any real heavy contenders that are faster than Canard back there to bother him just yet.
Yeah, I was going to say the 119, the orange bike, that's Anstey. He is a rookie out of England, just turned pro. It's the best start we've seen him get. Dungey's not too far back, though. He's already tried to make moves on the number 43 of Broc Tickle. Dungey with the yellow bike with the red plate. He's going to try to work his way around Tickle on the outside. Here's your leader, Canard, putting a little distance between himself and Matt Lemoyne.
You see that blue tube in the back of his helmet. He's got the drink system going.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's we heard from Michael Lessie, who's been running that today in the 450 class, and he said, you know, it's not so much that I reach up and have to grab that thing and drink from it that much. It's just that your mouth gets so dry here because of all the heat. So sometimes that bothers you more than anything else out there.
Canard picking a wide line around that sweeper. Everyone else except Dungey going to the inside. And Dungey, he has no choice. He has to go wherever the riders in front of him aren't just to make passes. but he is at least in front of his championship rival Pourcel, and he makes the pass on Tickle. So now it's Canard, Lemoyne, Wharton, and then Dungey in fourth. It's that sand section, very difficult.
Yeah, I talked about when we looked at the local kids. I mean, just them having an advantage. A lot of good riders on the horizon, young riders, that is, coming out of the amateur ranks. Dungey was pretty much drafted, you know, way early in his amateur career, and it's worked out for him. Doesn't work for everybody, but there's a bunch of kids coming up, and a couple of them running second and third, right ahead of Ryan right now.
All right, so it's Wharton in third, Dungey up to fourth, made a couple passes early, didn't get the starts he wanted today, but we count 2 motos. A second in Moto 1 for Dungey. If he wins Moto 2 at 2-1, you can't beat that, and he'll still be the overall winner. But he's got some work to do. Trey Canard trying to pull away out front, and you got Lemoyne, Wharton, and here's Dungey, and that jersey comes untucked on the first lap of just about every moto for Dungey. Maybe a little bonus ventilation, which in the heat out here in Texas is probably a good thing.
You know, riders used to wear a kidney belt, and that just kind of kept it tucked in. These days, guys like hanging loose a little bit more. I mean, Villopoto's jersey always came out. Stewart used to have that happening. It doesn't matter. As long as you're going fast, people can read the sponsors on it, your number. Flap in the breeze, whatever it takes.
Well, he can see the 61 on the back of the rider in front of him. Wharton, he's that close. Meanwhile, Wharton going after Lemoyne. Good job by Lemoyne to block the line, and they all chose that rut in the middle. There's only one way through there. Here's a section of the track where Dungey made passes in Moto 1. Cannot make it work around Wharton. I thought Dungey was going to try to work it around the outside. Let's see as they come down to the left-hander. Wharton doing a great job protecting his lines.
Yeah, because of the heat and the wind, it's been steady all day. It's drying the track out so much. It's hard to keep those outside lines, you know, as tacky and fresh as the inside. Here comes an inside move.
He's going to try to make that work. It's a long sweeper, so it's hard to tell at the beginning if your line's going to work it at the end. But Dungey just said, I don't care. I'm going to get both of you. Unbelievable. And that was rough. Dungey just held the pins.
That first lap, he went wide like Canard, and it's just dry out there. You can't hook up and really get aggressive on it without running some risks of losing the back end or just drifting out off the racetrack. And plus, it's a longer distance.
He's got to be thinking, what the heck happened, man? I was in second. I didn't even realize Dungey was there. Dungey goes from fourth to second, and it's close behind Lemoyne, who's behind Wharton. Everybody, we're talking Anstey, Searle, Tickle, Kyle Cunningham, who's another Texan in 8th, Metcalfe and Rattray. That brings you to the back of the top 10, and all these guys are in a pack, and that has been the theme of the series in this 250 class. Look at Searle. These are 2 English riders on KTM. Searle making the move around Anstey. And then behind Anstey, you have Tickle and then Metcalfe. It's unbelievably deep in this 250 class, and here's the trouble. With all this talent, it's very difficult for Christophe Pourcel to move toward the front of the pack. Pourcel is in 12th right now.
Yeah, with Dungey in second and time to catch Canard for another 3-point gap. 25 for a win, 22 for second. And you know he wants to win anyway, but to put those 3 points on Pourcel right now after losing a little bit to him the first moto, we'll get those back plus more. And that's assuming Pourcel can move up. Right now, sitting back in 12th.
That's a lot of riders to get through.
Yeah, just to get to the top 5 will be amazing.
All right, we'll keep tabs on Pourcel. How far can he climb? Can Canard hold off Dungey? Lots to solve. Stay with us.
When the work week.
Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championships. You're watching Moto 2 from Freestone Raceway in Wortham, Texas. Jason Wygant and 4-time champ David Bailey giving you the call. Look at this traffic. Tommy Searle, Max Anstey, Brett Metcalfe, Broc Tickle, Kyle Cunningham, a bunch of other Kawasaki's back there. Tyla Rattray's in that group. This is crazy.
This is the kind of traffic I wish I could be in. Usually when I'm in traffic, I'm like, come on, man.
They're not going slow. No.
This is a fast pace. Man, we're going to be in for this all year. You know, I mean, if a couple guys drop, there's plenty of substitute guys like this that are back in the pack right now. Pourcel being one of those guys. Durham, we had a great first moto. He's sitting in 11th, just ahead of Pourcel. They're not in this right here. Look at this freight train battle. It's what, I mean, you know, people talk about the 80s being, oh man, those were some good years. It was really close. It's closer than it ever was right now. Look at all these guys coming to the frame.
This is unbelievable. Searle made a big mistake entering that sand section. Anstey tries to answer back. Metcalfe has been in these types of battles for pretty much every lap of the series so far. I talked about it yesterday at press day, and he's like, man, it's awesome. I like it. Of course, I'd like to pull away from the guys and just dominate, but he's a racer and you like racing, and he's got 2 KTMs in front of him, a Yamaha and a bunch of Kawasaki's behind him. Metcalfe has just been a magnet for these battles. There's Searle, Anstey, Metcalfe, Tickle, Cunningham, Rattray. No, it's Pourcel now in front of Rattray. So Pourcel starting to come to full boil there.
Yeah, after years of watching McGrath dominate, and then Carmichael, and then James Stewart, it's so refreshing, not just as a fan, but as a rider too. If you're racing against those guys, and you get second, you've lost. It's like losing at boxing. Okay, there's not anybody back there that you beat. You get a top 5 in a moto like this, and you can feel pretty good about yourself at the end of the day.
Metcalfe fighting to get his way into the top 5. Around Anstey now, so Anstey in the 119 has been pushed back a spot. Searle is going to have to battle Metcalfe. Tickle is putting pressure on Anstey. Somewhere back there, see Cobb Cunningham on 36, and the next green bike is going to be Pourcel, who won the first moto. Pourcel is so calculated out there, I'd wonder, does he want to go bar to bar with these crazy young riders who are out there just stealing lines from each other all over the place?
No, he doesn't, and he's proven that he doesn't like to do that. He lets this kind of fizzle, and then he's just right there in the right place to take advantage of these mistakes. These guys will start to overshoot berms and lose their rhythm a little bit, or tire a tad, or whatever. Things happen in a half hour of going as fast as you can on this track that changes every lap. And we already talked about it. It's hot. There's so many elements right now you battle, and when that stuff starts to take its toll, Pourcel just works his way right through it all.
It is Pourcel's first year racing in the United States, but he came over from France with a great reputation for managing championships. And he knows, he looks at these riders in front of him and says, as he makes the move on Cunningham, Pourcel, he's aware of the big picture. If he slowly works his way through these guys and gets third by the end of the day, he might not win the race overall, but he won't lose that many points either. And he's fully aware as he puts Rattray and Cunningham behind him. Now he tries to move forward and go after Anstey.
He knows
Tickle.
He knows that Dungey's ahead of him.
Yep.
And since he doesn't see Dungey anywhere in this group ahead of him, I'm pretty sure he can assume that, well, I better limit some damage here. So yeah, looking at an overall win, stuff like that right now is like, forget about it.
Hey, there's our 450 class winner, Mike Alessi, trying to figure out who he's cheering for. Is Broc Tickle, or, you know what, Mike's just a super motocross fan. He just might be cheering for battle. Yeah, it's just fun to watch.
He just loves motocross. He's still in his gear. He's probably going to do some motos after this and then maybe run back to the hotel. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, carry the bike back to the pits. They're off the side of that jump we saw in the 450 class, and now same thing in the 250. They're using every inch of this racetrack and more. Nice move by Pourcel. And you notice every time he makes the pass, no chance of contact with any of these riders. Picking his way through, very intelligent.
He keeps it pretty clean. And coming out of that corner, he gets almost over that double jump right there, which was designed so you can't completely do it. You got to use some body English and finesse to get over that fast, but he clears it pretty good.
All right, that's Pourcel. Remember, Trey Canard leading this thing. Ryan Dungey beginning to bear down on him, and this is going to be a knockdown, drag-out battle because Canard finished third in Moto 1, Dungey finished second in Moto 1, so basically whoever finishes in front of each other in Moto 2 is going to win the overall. So everything is on the line here. Canard sprinted early. Dungey had to work his way through traffic the last couple of laps, though. Dungey has started to close. And you see the countdown clock at the top of the screen. We are only 10 minutes into a 30-minute plus 2-lap moto, so plenty of time for Dungey to go to work. And we've seen him in this position earlier in the year. He will wait a few laps and study instead of forcing the issue.
Well, you know what? At this point, you hit the nail on the head. It's going to be a fight. These guys are both plenty motivated. Canard, it's like he said, as close to a hometown race as he's going to get. To win like that would be awesome. And Dungey is thinking championship points. I need to put points on Pourcel as an opportunity. I want to win again. Be the first guy to win a couple races. I mean, these guys they have every reason to charge as hard as they can and not even think about how hot it is or rough it is. Anything except going fast.
Oh man, it's going to be great. Stay with us here on Speed. Dungey versus Canard for the victory. We'll be right back.
Speed in H.
The chase is on to the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship second moto. In the 250 class, Jason Wygant and David Bailey here to give you the action. And here is the action. Up front, Trey Canard on the 39, the red bike, leading Ryan Dungey, number 10 on the yellow bike. Totally different lines on this racetrack. This is what Dungey used to make passes earlier. Canard wouldn't let it happen.
Canard is making that outside line work. You know, I talked about him being a little bit drier out there, but he is staying in the sweet spot of the line, and it's all hookup. And now Dungey's thinking, man, that was a good spot I had, but maybe that's not going to work. So he's just going to study him. And I think if you look at these two in the history, Canard has messed up with this lead. He has given it away more times than Dungey has, and he's aware of that, trying to fix that. There's another opportunity to go, okay, look, you know, that was that, this is now, and I can bring it home. Dungey's going, hey, man, he's thinking what I was just thinking. That guy messes up sometimes, but he's not going to do that unless Dungey can stay all over him and really make him nervous.
Canard, a second-year pro. Dungey, a third-year pro. It's hard to believe that Dungey, at 19 years old, is considered a veteran of this 250 class, but that's how young and fast the talent out here is. So, yeah, Dungey, who has won 4 races in his career, Canard has not won one yet. So, as far as pressure goes, Dungey has been there and done it. Canard is still trying to learn how to seal the deal, but he's done a good job, actually. Dungey was a little bit closer in the section the last time around. Now that Dungey's gotten to him, we've only seen one real attempt at a pass, but look at the clock at the top of the screen. We're not even at the halfway point of this race.
Yeah, I don't want to climb all over Canard acting like he hasn't done it. I mean, he sealed the deal against Villopoto
in Supercross,
in a lights class, but that was a little while back. Lately, he's had a few times where he could have won races and coughed it up. So that's just running through my head right now as I watch this battle, and Canard is starting to feel this pressure right now. Dungey is all over.
Well, I think further in the defense of Canard, the reason that's happened a few times is he will fight you for it. If he has to ride out of his comfort zone, if he has to push the pace to try to maintain that lead and win the race, he'll do it. Sometimes that leads to mistakes, but it's better than just waving the guy around. He is a gamer, and it's a game right now because Dungey's caught him just as quickly as he did. You thought he'd go right by him. Hasn't happened.
They're coming to that spot. They reversed it.
Dungey goes wide. Canard tries to cover the inside. Whose line's going to work? Canard makes sure to put the bike in front of Dungey.
That was, you know, it was a gamble. It's interesting from Dungey to go, you know what, I'm just going to go wide this time to see what happens there. And, you know, partly it was Canard aimed at a little bit different spot, and so, you know, Dungey had to make a decision. And it seemed like it was going to be the right one, but Canard had the inside. You just don't let people pass you on the outside if you can help it.
Oh, well, that's what we're talking about with Canard. He will fight you for it, and if that leads to mistakes, hey, at least you're fighting for it. We saw in Vegas at the final Supercross of the year, the Dave Coombs East-West Shootout. Everyone was talking about Dungey and Pourcel. Canard was leading those guys till about 3 laps to go, had some trouble with lap traffic, and they snuck around him, but Canard's fighting. Look at the head shake into that corner. Here's Dungey on the inside. Canard just pins it around the outside and holds Dungey off.
Left the door open there a little bit, but he had a good line. So,
this time the inside might pay off. Here's J.C. Waterhouse, Canard's team manager. He sees Dungey get the lead. Here comes Canard right back. He's going to fight it. He's on the inside. How hard can they charge into this corner? I don't even think they touched the brakes. And Canard on the inside is going to get it back, and that's what I'm talking about. He came in that corner way too hot and still found a way to stick it. And Dungey gets him back. I don't know where he found that line. Unbelievable racing.
Well, Canard was still kind of proud of the move he just made, and he kind of lollygagged that corner just a little bit to get set in the rut, and Dungey went, what rut? I don't care. I'm just going to gas it. He realized he had room out there to the outside, and the further out there he drifted, the more it was just going to be on the inside of the next corner. So what a neat sequence from these guys. They're pushing so hard.
You can't say that they weren't trying, and that was everything Canard had, 200%. And more.
Yeah, I think he
show
went
last
to 210 there.
There we go. And he's going to try to keep Dungey in sight. We saw the fitness of Canard in Moto 1. When he crashed, he was outside the top 10. He never stopped charging. He never stopped fighting. And he made it all the way back to 3rd. That's why he's in the hunt for the overall win. And maybe he can go to school on some of Dungey's lines, although with the way Dungey caught him, you would think he'd be able to pull away. But we've seen a couple times out here already in Texas that things change once a rider's able to study lines. We'll see if Canard can hook on with it.
That was fast. That's the longest left-hander, except maybe Mount Morris next week, that first turn. Both of these are like the never-ending left turn.
Here is Christophe Pourcel up in the top 5, looking for 4th. That's Searle. And I think once again we've seen the championship smarts of Christophe Pourcel. He's going to probably make it up, certainly in the top 5, and maybe even in the top 3 before this thing is over. Morton 3rd. Here's Searle in 4th. He'll even give up the overall win by doing that, by not, throwing caution to the wind and just trying to blow past these guys early and catch Dungey and Canard. But it's a 12-round series. There are 24 points-paying motos. He wants to be there at the end. And Pourcel already was known as an intelligent rider when he won the 2006 World Championship in Europe. He gets a face full of sand from Searle. But in 2007, when he was defending that championship, had a horrific injury, broke his pelvis. And he said ever since he's come back from that, he's actually had to get even smoother and even smarter. He now knows a bit more, the dangers of racing, I guess, are in the back of his mind. So he already was a smart guy. He's even smarter now as he tries to work Searle over. And there's his mechanic, Kyle Bentley, saying he's 15 down on the lead. He's worried about that. He's got to get around the fourth place guy first, and that's Tommy Searle.
Yeah, watch this outside line by Pourcel. He's going to try to do what Dungey did. He kind of messed it up a little bit, or he might have had a shot at that.
Still might be able to close it down here on the outside. That hasn't worked all day. And you see him wisely get in the brakes. He does not want to come in contact with these guys. So he'll let Searle have that spot for the moment.
That little hiccup he had through that outside line, that would have been enough without that little hiccup. There's a double I was talking about. It's not a double, but he gets over it better than everyone else. That time he went wide and had another couple bike lengths run at it and was able to make that pass. Beautiful move.
Pourcel on the move up to fourth. Can he catch Wortham in third? Can Canard stay up with Dungey? Stay with us. This Thursday, Wrecked is all new. When a winter storm wreaks havoc on Chicago, O'Hare is left to clean up the carnage and put their own lives on the line. Wrecked, Life in the Crash Lane. Catch all new back-to-back episodes beginning at 10 Eastern, exclusively on Speed. Welcome back, Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championships, part of Ally, the Alliance of Action Sports. AllySports.com gives you the coverage of our first motos, but we're here in HD on Speed for Moto 2. Levi Kilbarger parked in the center of the track trying to get his bike started, and he slowed up our leader, Ryan Dungey. Dungey looks really, really strong right now, and that bike is working beautifully as well, David Kelly.
Well, he has to, because Canard's
not giving up.
Just back there. You see him coming into the corner right there. So, yeah, if he lets up right now, Canard will get a hook in him, and then he'll be having to deal with all the pressure that he was putting on Canard a little bit ago. And you don't want that with checkered flag and coming into your sights. It's nice to be in the lead, but when you got that much pressure and you kind of give it up like that, it gives the advantage back to the guy you got around. So he's trying to just put it away right now, and Canard's not letting him do it, so there's no rest.
Little change this year in the schedule. The 250 class traditionally would race before the 450 class. This year they've actually changed it up, and the 250s run second. And the suspicion is that the tracks are going to be rougher for them. The 250 guys say they want rougher tracks, so they're getting it right now. This track is really choppy right now.
Yeah, there's some sharp holes, some big roller holes like that. Lots of ruts to get into, but the ruts are full of braking bumps as well. So your back wheel can hop out of one and into another one. You get all crooked. That's why these guys carry the front end high, going through some of those fast sections like that. And taking another look back at the start, and it was Canard again.
Yeah, a progressive whole shot replay. Canard using that inside and getting out front.
Yeah, Anstey was getting in there pretty good. He went a little bit wide, and Canard just tucked it right around the inside. Nice move. And you see how everyone got jammed up on the inside a little bit, and that's what hung up Dungey and Pourcel. But they recovered nice.
Not many motocross tracks have right-handed first turns. The right side of the bike is where the rear brake pedal is. So when you come into the corner, you see they take their feet off the pegs, weight the front wheel with their leg, then you can't use the rear brake. So a little bit different. So that's why sometimes you see guys in the right-handed first turns blowing through the first turn like Anstey did. Here is Pourcel and, Searle and Rattray. How is it that these guys keep seeming to find each other on the racetrack? They were the ones that battled last year in Europe, and in almost every moto this year they've battled in the U.S.
Just similar in speed, I think. And I thought these guys were going to do just a little bit more. And, for anyone watching that was reading some of that hype, they're probably thinking, yeah, these guys were supposed to be faster than this. But let me tell you, these guys are going fast. It's just that Canard and Dungey and guys like Wharton have stepped up. It's just been amazing and caught them by surprise.
Let's check in with Aaron with a report on Tommy Searle.
Well, guys, I just found out from Kurt Nickel, who's the KTM team manager, that Tommy Searle has been staying with Mike Alessi this week in Victorville, California, training with him and trying to get adapted to whatever it is that he's doing, because he likes his style of riding, and he figures if he can follow in the footsteps of greatness, he'll be on his good path.
Well, he's got the motor to be able to pull a start. Those KTMs are fast. And, if I'm going to Mike's, I'm going, hey, dude, let's do starts. Hey, you want to do some more starts?
Tell me everything
Hey, what are you doing later? You want to do starts? because that's like, these days, it's like 90% of the race. So why would you want to go out and do a bunch of motos and be tough, and go to the gym? And, you know, my friend, an awesome athlete, one of my best friends, and helped me train for Ironman, he goes, you know, if they had races in the gym, I think Ryan Hughes probably would have won some titles, you know? But the race is out here, and, you know, if you don't get a start, you don't get to put all that physical strength to use. You got to get up there and get good track position, you know, for the fitness to really start to take effect.
Searle 5th, Rattray 6th, Metcalfe, who is, of course, involved in a big battle here, is in 7th. Tickle, Lemoyne, and Cunningham rounding out your top 10. Good job by the young Star Racing Yamaha riders with the Tickle and Lemoyne inside the top 10. Searle had a rough go of it at Hangtown. He finished 4th in both motos at Glen Helen for 4th overall. That was strong in the opener, but had a 30th and a 9th at our last race. And he said, I didn't come all the way to the United States to get in the top 10. I want to be on the podium. I want to win races. Right now he's in 5th. He's battling with Rattray, his old rival from Europe. And Brett Metcalfe, I don't care who it is. I'm going to battle with somebody. That guy's been battling people all year, and there he is trying to keep pace with Rattray.
Yeah, he's on the move. And he's that last lap, he was a second faster than both these guys. And just since he's been in the picture right here, you see him closing the gap. He's coming to the sand section. He's going to have an inside line. Now Rattray moved over on him a little bit, but look at that. He doesn't want to follow. He goes right in the middle, jumps in. Nice rhythm. There's a big change from him last year. Last year, number 24, we're looking at their Metcalfe.
Yep.
He collapsed after this race. It was a lot hotter then, but still, it's nice to see him. I never really questioned his fitness before. That was kind of a shocker to me, but he's different.
Yeah, it really just shows how difficult this game is as far as fitness. These guys, Rattray and Metcalfe, they're as strong as they come. But like we said, they don't race in the gym, they race in the track. Once you're out there racing, things can change. This is just a phenomenal battle, watching the 123 to 411 and the 24. It's 5th, 6th, and 7th, but if we didn't have any footage of the leaders, you'd think they're battling for the lead because these guys are going so darn hard.
Metcalfe taking a look. Well, not quiet, but Rattray's like, shoot, man, if I do anything creative to get around Searle, I might leave a door open for Metcalfe, so he's got to be careful now. He's in a weird spot.
Metcalfe to the inside. Can he make it work? That double that Pourcel used, Rattray used as well to stay in front of Metcalfe, at least for the moment. Now Rattray's like, man, I got to get around this 123 because the 24 won't leave me alone.
Yeah, that's what I'd be thinking if I was Tyla. I'd be going, okay, let me get by Searle and use him as a screen for now. I mean, it's Searle's feeling this pressure too. I mean, if he doesn't want to finish back in 10th and all that, here's his opportunity right now to prove I'm a up-front guy.
And you see they put Barcia lap down. It's been a rough day for the young rookie. Kawasaki riders want to see Pourcel move up.
When the work
Get the very latest motorcycle racing news and results with Green Alert from Speed Mobile. From huge wins to big upsets, when the action happens, you'll know. Just text KX to 773333 and get free text alerts. Speed Green Alerts presented by Kawasaki.
You know, watching this battle, watching Rattray trying to do something with Searle here, he's just following him just a little bit too much. And that time he took a different line and Searle kind of swapped over into his, but you know, that I think it wasn't Searle swapping into his as much as feeling him there and trying to cover the move. You can't follow as much as Rattray's been and expect to make that pass.
Rattray going to try an outside line there. You're going to try to take your advice. But again, the line of Searle working its way in front of the line of Rattray. Can Rattray force the issue in the left-hander? Just too darn rough. Bouncing through those braking bumps on the inside. Searle able to hold him off, and now Rattray can hear the Honda behind him.
Yeah, this is where Metcalfe seems to make up time on these guys coming into this tight stuff. Searle holding it up just a little bit. He didn't carry enough momentum around that corner, and so it's just jammed up behind him now.
Searle enters that left-hander way on the outside, standing up. I didn't think that would work, but it did. He opened up a little bit of a gap. Metcalfe's been trying this inside line, but the jump on the outside here for Rattray is good enough from the hold on to that number 6 position with Metcalfe in 7th. You've got Wortham in 3rd in front of this. Trey Canard in 2nd. He's 5 seconds back of our leader, Ryan Dungey. There's only 3 laps to go, so Canard is really going to have to dig down deep now. Get desperate to try to get Dungey back. This is a phenomenal battle, though, for 5th, 6th, and 7th. It's unbelievable you can race for just about 30 minutes. These guys are still this close.
Yeah, next time you go to the gym and you're done. You're done with the stair climber or the whatever master. that's all I got. And somebody comes up, taps you on the shoulder, and goes, hey, for about 8 more minutes or so, I need everything you got. 200%.
Right.
You know, and there's a little bit of danger factor in this. We're on a treadmill, what's going to happen? You know, these guys are dealing with so much in these final few laps where there's pressure like this, and you're nervous. You feel that pressure, you're thinking about points, title, job, you know, your expectations. These guys, motocross is just so many angles you can look at. It makes it such a fun sport. It's an addiction, really, for me. I'm almost 50, and I'm just like hung on this, getting goosebumps over things. You know, it's amazing.
I think you just pumped yourself up there, but how could you not watching this battle? And I cannot believe Searle has survived yet another lap of intense pressure from Tyla Rattray and Brett Metcalfe.
Yeah.
Can't say this guy doesn't want it. We found third place. That's Blake Wharton. It has been a lonely ride in third for him. Pretty big gap between himself and his teammate Canard, who is second. But an even bigger gap between himself and Pourcel, who is in fourth. So we mentioned at the top of our show, the local kids. Well, we got one of the riders from Oklahoma in second, and one of the riders from Texas in third. Good job by Wharton. He's actually a rookie. Raced a couple races at the end of the year last year. But really, it's his first full season, and it's kind of overshadowed a little bit because Barcia only turned pro a few weeks ago, his teammate. But Wharton is solid. We've got our Geico replay we're going to show you up, and Christophe Pourcel, we talk about how he's Mr. Smooth, Mr. Calculated, but even the best have some crazy moments out there, David.
This was in the first moto, and he's heading into the sand section all nice. Whoa, whoa, tries to tap the brake, can't quite reach it, and it starts swapping back and forth. Almost goes off the track. Nice little save there. And, you know, it was a pretty uneventful first moto for him, except for that part. And, you know, looking at Wharton, we just got off of to get to that shot. Those guys are kind of similar. The fact that, you know, there's Wharton right there. It doesn't have a lot of body language, not very animated, just kind of sits still and goes fast. Very similar to Pourcel. It doesn't seem like they use a lot of energy. I'm sure that it's hard. I mean, I was told that as well, but you know, some guys just move around a lot more on the motorcycle than others.
Ryan Dungey, last lap now. It looks like he's shaking Canard by just a bit. It's just within 6 seconds. Big mistake by Dungey in the last lap. Canard could still get him. And Canard kept the heat on the whole time. That kid never gave up. Let's get to know Ryan Dungey a little bit better while he tries to wrap up this second moto victory.
You know, coming in from 2008 into 2009, I feel like, you know, another year of experience is always good to have on your belt. But I also went through a lot. You know, I learned a lot, you know, with chasing after the championship and winning my first outdoor races. You know, I think that was a big step in my career, and I really feel that ever since that point, you know, I've been able to keep plugging away and putting it together, you know, one race at a time. To win every race from here on out, like I said, and you know, we'll worry about the championship if it starts getting close, you know, and then we'll, you know, do what we have to. But for now, just winning races and being smart and keeping safe and healthy.
That's Ryan Dungey. Only a few corners to go for the young rider from Belle Plaine, Minnesota. We mentioned it a few times on the show, not outstanding as an amateur. Coming out of Minnesota, you definitely do not get to ride year-round. And once he was able to start training in Florida and start getting the races more often, he got better and better. Suzuki plucked him out of the amateur ranks and turned him pro a little bit early. A lot of people wonder why. Well, they've answered that question now. It looks like he's on his way to winning 2 of the first 3 rounds of this Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship, and he'll extend his points lead. Even enough time for a little one-hander. I can't believe how rough this track is. Even at the speed he's going right now, it looks tough.
Yeah, he starts slowing down. He hits stuff different, and sometimes it looks worse, actually. You know, watching the greatest, Ricky Carmichael, when he got a lead and had about 4 or 5 laps to go, he'd start looking at fans, taking different lines, and kind of having fun with lapped riders. And he'd actually be going about the same speed because he'd just stumble into stuff, you know, on such a roll. And it's not always the case, but Dungey feeling good today. The 2-1 for the overall. Pick up, I think, about 4 more points on Pourcel if Pourcel stays where he is. So, and in places on this track, it's similar dirt to Millville, which we'll see later on.
Well, there's no doubt then that he feels comfortable. Ryan Dungey pounds his chest, points to the sky. He has won here in Texas. Stay with us. We'll be back to talk to our winners. Welcome back. Ryan Dungey celebrating a hard-fought overall victory here in Wortham, Texas. The Flagstar Bank Freestone National is in the books. Let's go to our Lucas Oil race recap and show you how Dungey did it. Off the start is the young Englishman, Max Amsty, to the max, outside in turn one, and that allows Trey Canard to get to the inside. Canard with the early lead, Dungey with a horrible start, but he made up ground quick, David.
He just went slicing through the pack, getting a 2-for-1 right there in the big left sweeper, and was just on a roll out there. This is a neat exchange between Canard and him. He just goes to the outside and goes, you know what, if I just gas it and see, oh, it worked.
Canard did a phenomenal job trying to hold him back there and kept pressure on throughout most of the race, but eventually Dungey was able to distance himself. He wins by about 6 seconds. Canard second, Blake Wharton a quiet but solid ride for third. Christophe Pourcel, who won our first race today, ends up in fourth. That's valuable championship points. Max Amsty holds on for a top 10. Give you the rest of the top 20 there. Another Englishman, Stephen Clark, in 20th. And let's go down to the podium with Aaron.
Ryan Dungey wasted no time making a pass past Trey Canard. Ryan, take us through this. What does this moment mean to you, not only to make the pass past Trey, but on a track such as this?
It was great. You know, I actually didn't get the best hole shot that time, but I made it easy on myself, got by him, and I felt awesome. You know, to be honest, the second moto I felt better, which is great for me. And but I just got to give it up to all Rockstar, Makita Suzuki, Maxima, Bridgestone, RG3, my mom and dad, and just a fun day. You know, when you're fit like that, it makes it fun. You know, and the track, and I need to step up and start doing those things, and I belong here, I feel, and I gotta do my dues.
Congratulations on another victory and also on extending your points lead.
I think the young man's paid his dues already. He's taking control of this series. We'll be back with more from the podium when we return to Texas.
24.
Fans are fired up. Podium celebration about to get underway from the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Third round, Wortham, Texas. We'll show you the results here from the 250 class. Ryan Dungey with a 2 and a 1. That's enough to take the win. Pourcel and Canard on the podium again. Same three riders that were on the podium in our previous race. Blake Wharton and his teammate Brett Metcalfe, top 5. Rattray, 7th. Wants a little more than that. Let's go back down to Aaron.
Christophe Pourcel decided he was going to make his job a little bit more tough today. Christophe, a bad start for you. How difficult was it to battle your way through the pack?
You know, I think at the start, I think I spin or something like that, so I was pretty mad about that, and you know, all these guys are pretty crazy at the beginning of the moto, so it wasn't easy, but you know, I just give what I get, and I was pretty tired at the end of the moto. It's pretty warm here. You know, I'm just really happy to be on the podium again, and I want to say thanks to all the guys who were behind me, Kawasaki, Monster, Pro Circuit, and really happy to be on the podium.
Congratulations on a job well done. Trey Canard having an exceptional performance out there as well. Trey, you've already got your boots off. How hot was it out there today, real quick?
It's pretty muggy. You know, I think it's helped a lot that I've, you know, been hydrated, and everyone behind me has been working really hard. The whole Geico Power Sports team and Honda and Planet Fitness and Unbound Energy, everyone's been great. So to come out with a third's not bad.
All right, well, that's Trey Canard. He put up one heck of a fight. Same thing with Pourcel. Dungey gets another win, but we'll have the rematch next week. We'll be going to High Point Raceway. First round back east in Pennsylvania. That's going to be a classic. For everyone here, David Bailey, Aaron Bates, and myself, Jason Wygant, we're glad you're able to join us. Go to speedtv.com for more information. And congratulations out to Ryan Dungey, who conquers Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross from here in Texas.